Hey friends, it's Sin. I'm back to do another recap and review for 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 12, The Parent Trap. Alright, we're going to start off with Jihoon and Deavan. So we know last episode it ended on a cliffhanger because Jihoon had put Drusilla down. She started running towards the street. Deavan and Deavan's mother were yelling, saying, Jihoon, go get Drusilla. And we just see them running, and then we see Jihoon run really fast to go catch up to Drusilla. And I was saying, I hope everything is fine with Drusilla. So we get to this episode. She is fine. They did catch her. But like I had suspected, she was running towards the street. So, of course, Deavan is really upset at Jihoon. Deavan's mother's really upset. Deavan's mother just takes the baby and she goes upstairs with the baby and Drusilla. So they sit down and Deavan actually explains what happened. So when Jihoon when Jihoon put Drusilla down, she went running. Deavan was like, get Drusilla. She was yelling. Obviously, her child is in danger. So she yelled, get Drusilla, and Jihoon turned around and said, don't yell at me. Then he went after her and got her. Honestly, at first when they were trying to tell us story, I was getting confused. I was like, wait, what happened? But yes, that is what happened. So rightfully so, Deavan is really upset because she's just saying, if the child's in danger and the child is running towards the street, how are you worried about I'm yelling at you when you should be worried about a baby that can get killed because of cars? So I understand why she's mad. When I saw the trailer, I thought that the family was mad because she was running towards the street, which I feel like that was a hard thing. Like that could have happened to anyone. Anyone could have put her down really quickly and she could have ran. But they are mad because of him reacting to the situation wrong. So, makes complete sense. What happens is Jihoon just starts crying and he's like, oh, you don't know how I feel. And honestly, I'm confused. Like, is he crying because he let Drusilla run towards the street? Was he scared, or is he crying because he was sad that she was yelling at him? In the situation, I'm a little confused by this. And to me, it honestly seems like he's crying because she yelled at him and he's upset that they're mad. It seems like he's more upset that they're mad and that she yelled at him than that Drusilla almost got hit by a car. So, like, what? I don't know. But that's how it's coming off to me. And Jihoon need to get it together because that just doesn't even make any sense. Number one, a baby is running to the street. Your first thing is just to help them. It should not be, don't yell at me. So, I don't know. This type of stuff, people might break up with somebody over. But, they use a little translating. They go back and forth. He crying, like literally having a whole breakdown. And Deavan is like, I don't care, Jihoon. I don't care. Your tears mean nothing. It means nothing to me. I was like, ooh, girl, she cold. But rightfully so. And then Jihoon's meddling, coddling mother walks over and she's like, oh, I heard you crying. What's going on? But Jihoon does stop her. He's like, no, this is between us. Bye, mom. Like, get out of here, please. So she does leave. And Jihoon's mother says to the camera that she just is afraid that he's going to be in a type of relationship where he isn't treated properly. But it's not like they were just yelling at him. Like, it's not like Deavan just was yelling at him for no reason. She was afraid her child's going to get hit by a car. She just yelled, go get her. And even when I saw the scene from last episode and then when they repeated this time, I was not even thinking about them yelling, get Drusilla. I don't know. Why would that be on people's mind? I was trying to figure out like why they were so hysterical, and I was like, she must be running towards the street. I just feel like his mother cares more about that, just like Jihoon cares more about the yelling than they cared about the situation that a child could have got hit by a car. So their priorities are wrong, definitely. So Deavan decides whatever, she's gonna stay with Jihoon and he needs to get it together still. Then he decides to apologize to Deavan's mother. And it's a mess. Deavan's mother is just like Deavan. First of all, they talk alike. And she like, look, I don't care about your tears, boy. You didn't care, and my grandchild almost got killed. And she's like, extra visual. A little too much for me, Shema. We could have been scraping her off the road. I was like, oh, whoa. Do you really want to say that? That's kind of terrible. But Jihoon apologizes. He's saying he could be a better father and he's sorry. He's only a new father. And that is a bad excuse. And she does call him out on that. She's like, no. You're 30. let's not. Anybody knows that a child running towards the street is a danger alert, and they should care more about that than being yelled at. And Jihoon just keeps apologizing, and she also, which was kind of weird to me, she keeps saying like, I take care of Taeyoung when I was in America, so make sure you take care of Drusilla. I really love her. That part is a little strange to me. I feel like the way she's wording this, I don't know how she means it, but it's not coming off well. Because Drusilla and Taeyoung are both her grandchildren. And I know Taeyoung is Jihoon's son, so I guess she's trying to say like, see, I took care of your son, so make sure you take my granddaughter. But they're both your grandchildren, lady. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I know she's trying to say like, love Drusilla like she's your own child. But I don't know, I just think it's coming off wrong, and she should really think about what she's saying. Devan's mother are very valid in them being upset because Jihoon he's like a child. He's like a child because he just cares more about somebody yelling at him than he cares about a child in danger. And we know this partially has to stem from his mother coddling him and treating him like a baby. We can see that every episode, and we see this episode as well. He just honestly is probably not equipped to take care of children. And when you see someone do something like this, if I was Deavan, I would not leave him alone with those children. He can't take care of children. He's not capable of taking care of children. He isn't. He really is not. And it's because he acts like a child, and he thinks about himself first before he thinks about anybody else, even in a high danger situation. And that's a real big problem. But basically that's how it ends. Devan's mother is not playing with him. She don't want to deal with him and his BS. Devan too, they both don't care about the tears. They say dry him up and be a better person. But I feel like they always have to tell him to be a better person. And at what point are we going to realize that the person you want him to be does not exist? And at what point is she just gonna not stay with him? That's what I'm waiting for. Cause like every episode is be better, girl. Then it is Biniam and Ariella. So Biniam meets up with his family at this little restaurant, and they're just talking to him about their concerns. They're still concerned about him dating Ariella. They don't want to repeat what happened with his last wife, where they broke up. She took the child back to America, and now no one talks to the child at all. So they're telling him about this, and Biniam is like, no, don't worry. We got everything good. She trusts me. It's going great. Everything is fine. And they're like, okay, even with you working at the club with your ex-girlfriend? And Biniam like, yep. Perfect, she trusts me and everything is fine. I'm like, boy, no. Like, we saw her at the club. Is she saying she trusts him and that she's fine with it? Yes. Do I believe that's actually true? No. Like, jealousy is going to come up, and I still think it's going to end up being a problem in their relationship. Also, his family's just like, listen, you've done this before, with the whole wife situation, like I just said. And if this is a repeat, and if everything messes up and the baby ends up going back to America and you don't get to see or talk to your child, this is your fault because you put yourself in the same situation again. That's basically what they told him. They're like, you don't make good decisions and you keep doing the same thing over and over. So when everybody's devastated, including you, blame yourself. That's what they tell him. And one of his sisters, the younger one, says that she really just wishes that he married an Ethiopian woman, and that he wasn't with Ariella. She just think it would be simpler, which probably would be. But that is what she wants. So really, they keep saying it's not Ariella, it's just everything. And I don't think they don't like Ariella as a person. Just as a whole, they would prefer probably him to date somebody Ethiopian. At least she would be in the country. If anything goes wrong, he'd probably still be able to see the child. But instead, he's in this situation again with an American woman. And if things go wrong, it probably will be a repeat. And like I've said from the beginning, I do not think this relationship will last. I think Ariella's going to end up going back to America because that just seemed like what's happening here. Besides that, they have talked to him about their religion and how Biniam wants the baby to be baptized. Only problem is Ariella's Jewish, so he goes and talks to Ariella later about it. They're going to a church so she can see what would happen. He gives her like a covering because she's supposed to have a covering while she's in church in Ethiopia, and that in the church that he's part of. So they go, and the guy basically says, yeah, your son can get baptized,
And Benny was like, okay, even if she isn't Christian and she isn't baptized, and then the guy's like, oh no, the baby can't get baptized because the baby would still be suckling from a non-Christian breast. And I was like, oh, okay, they strict up in here. So the baby can't get baptized if she is not baptized. So Biniam tells her this, and Ariella's like, listen, I don't know about all that because I'm Jewish. And she doesn't like the idea of Christianity. She doesn't like the idea of hell. She doesn't believe in hell, and she doesn't like that people teach it. So I think that's a pretty firm stance she has on Christianity. So I don't see her getting baptized. Also, I think it is, I know he wants his child to be baptized, but I think it's unfair to her to ask her to get baptized when she's clearly not Christian. It's not like she has no religion, which I still think if that's what somebody wanted to do and they didn't want to get baptized, it's still unfair to ask someone to do that. You want to baptize the son, even though she doesn't believe in Christianity, she was gonna let that happen. But now you want her to get baptized? I think he's doing entirely too much. Like, she got her own religion. No. So Ariella says to the camera she feels like maybe they aren't meant for each other because this is a situation they probably can't get over. Agreed. Y'all should have discussed that religion thing before, because this don't make no sense. But like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna end up having them break up or not, but yeah, I don't think that Ariel's gonna get baptized, nor should she, because no, that's not her thing. It's not her religion. And she has already done a lot, which she brings up. I do not like her. I really don't. I said this, but I still could say she has moved to a whole other country for him. She is okay with him dancing at a club with his ex. She's fine with her child being baptized, even though it's not her religion. And now you want her to baptize yourself too? The list is too long. You need to shorten it. These requests are too much. They really are. And that's me not even liking her. So it's just not gonna work. Like I said, they don't belong together. And I knew they didn't belong together from the first episode. Then it's Kenny and Armando. They're really short. They're just at dinner after they got engaged. Yay! And they have like a quick celebration with his 2 daughters. And Armando has 2 of his friends there. And it's a woman that he had came out to 2 years ago. So it's people that he feels safe with. But they're just discussing how they're going to be going to pick up Armando's daughter the next episode. And Armando's really kind of scared to see his family. And Kenny's just like, are you going to tell him we're engaged? Are you going to tell him? And Armando is looking like he's hyperventilating. I feel bad for Armando because, like I said before, he has not been out that long. He is happy to be engaged. Clearly, he's out in a restaurant and happy about all of this. But his family, his father didn't even want to see him off because he came out. Now he has to pick up his daughter with Kenny. They know they're in a relationship. They know they're living together. But I do understand why he would not want to tell them right then and there that he's engaged. Like that he might want to tell them later, not, hey, here's my boyfriend. Also, I'm engaged. All right, let me get my daughter. Bye. That's what they want. That's what Kenny wants him to do. But I understand why he doesn't want to. And if Kenny was paying attention to him, just like, but he doesn't always pay attention to how Armando's looking. Like when he wanted to kiss him in the street and Armando looked really scared and he was trying to tell him he's afraid that people would attack them. He's not even paying attention to how much this is affecting Armando, how he's really like hyperventilating when he's talking about it. He really, because you could tell he really wants his family to be happy for them. He just don't think they will. And I think it's a lot of pressure for Kenny to bring up. Like, are you going to tell him we're engaged? So I just hope it goes well. But I feel bad for Armando because he getting put in this situation. His family, kind of trash. Actually, they are trash. Right? Let's just say it. They need to just accept the man. It's not that serious. I feel like Kenny needs to be more understanding. You've been out longer. It's different. It's a different situation. And he had to just recently re-come out to his parents. So I think he needs to be more understanding of Armando. He also needs to pay attention to Armando and see when he is in distress and when the things he's saying is causing him distress. Because Kenny is just in his own world. His own privileged American world all the time. That's what it comes off as all the time. And he needs to reel it in just a little. Because Armando really says he wants to tell his family he's engaged. He's happy he's engaged. It's a beautiful thing. But give him a little bit of time. I think even for a non-gay couple, if somebody was meeting somebody's boyfriend supposedly for the first time, and they just said, hey, and we're engaged, their family would be like, what? That happened? No, people don't like surprise engagements. They don't like to be surprised that quickly, especially if somebody's just popping up. They don't like that. People usually don't like that. And with his family being trashy, like, they're gonna be upset. And do he want to deal with that emotional mess? No, he don't. So just let him tell them at his own time, maybe on the phone, miles away. But that's it with them. Then it is hot mess Brittany and Yazan. So Brittany and Yazan are getting ready to meet his parents because his uncle has spoken to them. He wants them to all have a meeting and discuss, them delaying getting married and being able to, spend some time together before they make that decision. So Brittany does have on hijab. She has on a traditional dress, some type of dress they wear. I forgot what she called it. They're on their way driving to meet his parents. And what I did notice is both of them is not wearing seatbelts, so dangerous. This happens a lot on reality TV shows. I don't know why they do this. Or maybe a lot of people just don't wear seatbelts, which they shouldn't be doing, but both of them have on no seatbelts. And I was like, what? Safety, but whatever. They get to the parents' house, and the uncle, the parents are there. Still, Yazan's mother is not being filmed because she doesn't want to be on camera. But Yazan's father's just like, look, they need to get married. We don't do that boyfriend-girlfriend stuff up in here. And his mother's like, yep, agreed. But Yazan's uncle's like, listen, no. His father tries to say that. He's like, yeah. The father's like, they should just get married. Yazan's uncle's like, no. They shouldn't. They should not just get married. And the mother tries to interject too, and he's like, no. He's just shutting people up left and right, and I was loving it. But he's like, no, listen. They need to have time. They need to figure things out. They should not just jump into marriage. Brittany has not been here long. She doesn't know the culture. She doesn't know the country. She doesn't know us. And y'all want them to just get married. And what if things don't work out and then they get separated because they were pushing to marriage so fast, and then, look, it's another separation. And he was like, and that's really common here. That actually got to the family. That actually got to his parents. They were like, oh, shoot, dang, you right. You was definitely right. We do be pushing stuff and people really do be separating. So they actually said it's fine that they can wait. So everybody's happy. Yay. When they was having a conversation, Brittany, doesn't speak the language, but she looked terrified. Like, terrified. She was just sitting there like... So after that, she had a big sigh of relief. Yazan also does say that, yeah, he wants to introduce her more to Islam, have them, be friends, they were saying. And when her father comes, then they can decide whether they want to get married or she wants to go back to America. It'll be them deciding if they're really right for each other. And that's what they need, even though I think they should really just break up. But whatever, they'll spend this time figuring out they belong together, which is no. And then they'll separate and it's no forced marriage, but they don't know that. Brittany can't get married anyway because she married. So Brittany does talk to the camera and she's like, yeah, I'm so happy. Everything is going well and yay. And everybody's smiling and yay. And I'm just like, okay. And Brittany's like, yeah, I have to figure out a time when to tell them that I'm still married. Girl, do we not remember the first encounter when you first got to Jordan and how they was yelling at you? She didn't know what they were saying, but they said the world's gonna think she a prostitute and she need to get the internet and she rude and she don't respect the husband. They was going in and they was hella rude. So what you think gonna happen when you tell them you married? This is terrible because you should have never kept it a secret, but what do you think is gonna happen? This is a situation where in the beginning I said she should have just told him when she was in America. But she has dug herself in this secret so deep now that she should just keep it a secret, I think. And they should just break up. She should go back to America. And then she should never say nothing about it. Because she's going to put herself in a world of trouble. She is. And she's already too far in to go back. She's already too far into this hole of secrecy to return. She really is. Just go back home and break up with him. Because I don't even know if I want to see what happens when she tells them she's married. It's going to be terrible. It really is. It's going to be a hot, terrible mess. Then it's just Jenny and Sami, and they're in their, new apartment in India,
And Samiha bought some paint for them so that they can do an accent wall. And you put these little concentrated paints that they have to mix themselves. And Jenny's just like, in America, we would go to a store, somebody would mix it. You know, we would hire painters. And I'm like, girl, don't nobody do that. I mean, you get your paint mixed, but hire painters? It's not even that serious. So they do paint the walls. Sami has a roller. Jenny has the brush. And yeah, it was bad. That's when I was like, you know what? I take it back. Y'all need professionals, because the wall was streaky. It had drips at the bottom. They put no tape. They don't know what they're doing. They need another coat. It just looked terrible, and they should never paint again. No, it was bad. But besides that, Sami just tells her that he's gonna meet with his family soon and his parents and just discuss, some things with them. Maybe try to get them on board with the relationship. And Jenny's afraid that they might trap him in the house when he goes over to see them. And I'm just like, no. Like, they would do something like that, but it's just terrible. Like, nobody should be trapping somebody just because you're mad about the decisions they make. I don't think Jenny and him belong together because of the age difference. She looks like she could be his mother. But that don't mean they could be trapping him nowhere and imprison him in their house because they don't like what he do. But he still said he gonna go meet the parents and talk to them, but he did not mention Jenny going at all. So I feel like he doesn't want her there because it might make the situation worse because they hate her, basically. But that's it with them. They don't have much going on besides painting that wall and painting it terribly. But that is it for my recap and review of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 12, The Parent Trap. I'll see you on my next one. Bye.